So to recap, here's what you need to know. Number 1, how to choose the right pipette. Choosing the pipette. I'm sorry, I'm not one of those speed writer people. Okay, so step 1 is to figure out the volume that you need. Step 2 is to choose the right pipetter based on the volume limits on the top of the pipetter. So check middle of plunger for volume limits and choose the correct pipetter. Once you've done that, you will set the pipetter. So you will make sure that the lock is down. And then you will twist the knob, not the plunger, to set. Do not twist the knob above the max. So if you're using a 20 to 200, do not think it can be set to 212. It can't. You will break it. So that comes back up to choosing the correct pipetter. All right. Number 3 is always going to be to get your tip. So before you go into the liquid, you get your tip, and you'll remember the plunger center color is to inform your tip choice. So if it's a blue center, you get the blue tips or the largest tips. If it's a yellow center, you get the yellow tips or the medium tips. And if it's a white center, you get the white tips or the very small tips. Okay. It will also say on the top of the tip box. So this one says like 1 to 200. This one says 0.1 to 10. And this one is kind of old, but you can still see it. It says 100 to 1000. So it will also be on the top of the box. Okay, then you get your tip. Then you depress the plunger to the first stop. Put into the center of the liquid, and then you gently let up on the plunger to pull up the liquid. You go into your next tube, which I'm going to call the into tube because you're putting something into the into tube. And then you're going to depress the plunger through the first stop to the second stop. So we use the second stop for dispensing. We use the first stop for both sucking up and dispensing. And then we only use each tip how many times? 1 time. Each tip is single use. And so then you will eject the tip into the tip waste using the side tip eject button, not the plunger. Another note on that is if you get a tip, so you're getting a tip and you're like doing something and then you like accidentally like hit your hand or hit your shirt or hit the table or hit anything at all, you must immediately eject that tip. So the single use is actually whether you use it on a sample or whether you use it by accident to stab something else. Once the pipette has touched anything that is not the inside of the box, it is trash and you have to get a new one. This is part of what helps us to not have contamination.